Why, hello there YouTube and welcome to a Who review. I am Davros and I'm a Whovian, and today I am reviewing Doctor Who, The Invisible Enemy. So this is a four-part serial from 1977 where the Doctor and Leela find themselves on Titan, a moon on Saturn, and there is this virus which takes control of its host, and the hosts are taken over by this virus, and they plan to go to a nearby space station where they plan to multiply and spread and develop, and the Doctor is also infected, and he must then make a clone of himself to shrink down with a clone of Leela to find the nucleus, and they end up taking the nucleus out, but it also grows big from the shrinking device and becomes a creature of its own, and the Doctor and Leela must stop it from happening. They've also perfected an antidote, and also Leela has an immunity to it all because of her warrior instincts. So that is pretty much the essential story on that one. So what did I like? Well, I like that this was the introduction to K9. Yes, this was K9's introduction to the show. He appeared in part 2, voiced by John Leeson, and John Leeson also voiced the Nucleus as well, the main antagonist for this story, and I thought he did a great vocal performance on both ends, doing two characters at once. I also thought the effects were pretty decent, such as the space effects. I mean, yeah, you could tell that a lot of them were old school, but they had some fairly decent ones in there, especially with how they contracted the virus as it shot like sort of a lightning-like beam from the eyes. So I thought those were pretty good effects for its time. Now, I believe this one has been remastered, digitally re-altered, but I've seen the edition that I've just watched wasn't that, but still, those effects that they had were pretty good. I mean, there were some dull effects in there, like when the Doctor and Leela clones were being injected into the Doctor's mind and they're in that whirlpool. You can tell that's all on a blue screen, but yeah, it still worked. It was effective, and there were scenes where they were in, again, a green screen or a blue screen, and they were inside the Doctor's mind, and we see this whole different, like, set scenery as well. I also liked some of the supporting characters, like Professor Marius, who was a scientist that owned K9, and at the end, when he's returned to Earth, he gives K9 to the Doctor and Leela to travel with because he doesn't have any purpose for him on Earth. So that's how K9 came to be, and is probably one of the most iconic companions to this very day. I also like that this wasn't too long. It didn't drag. It was 4 episodes long, 25 minutes each, 100 minutes in total, and that was good enough. That was good for me. I'm alright with 4-parters. They don't tend to drag. I mean, however, one negative is part 3 I felt dragged just a little bit. At one point, I got out my phone and looked on that quickly, but I quickly got invested back into it all and kept on watching. So that was okay. I will say that the effects for the nucleus, the puppetry on that was a bit poor, but that was 70s sci-fi on TV back then. I'm sure it was effective back in 1977, but for my generation, for me today, that effect on it hasn't aged well, and I can see why they touched that one up with the effects. But all in all, it's a decent serial. I thought Tom Baker was brilliant in this, as he always is, because he's one of the best Doctors, and yeah, even if one of his serials, his episodes are dull, he always makes it worth the watch. I also like Louise Jameson as Leela as well. She, I believe, was a newer companion at that time, so I think she was still settling into it and that, I'm not sure, but yeah, this was a good serial and I do recommend it. So ratings, I will give the performances a 8, the writing an 8, the visuals I will give them a 7, and my personal I will give it an 8. So there you are, my ratings on Doctor Who The Invisible Enemy. So have you seen this one? Let me know down in the comments below if you have. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and to share with your friends, and to feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and to hit that notification bell. I've been Davros the Whovian, and this has been a Who review on Doctor Who The Invisible Enemy. So I have all my social media links down below in the description, so until next time, run for your life.